Hello and welcome to Stop, Drop, and Roll. My name is Gary Sharp. I'll be your DM this evening, and this is just a little improv game of Dungeons and Dragons that me and my friends do every week. We hope you enjoy the show. Let's take a moment and meet everyone around the table here. Calisan, let's start with you.
Hello, my name is Michael, and I'm playing Calisan, the half-elf wizard.
Eeks.
Hey guys, I'm Justin. I play Eeks, the badass little goblin rogue assassin. Next up is Stole.
Aha! You never pick me. Hi guys, I'm Patrick. I play Stole, the Goliath, I almost said barbarian paladin. And I smash stuff. Next up we have Rin.
Hi, I'm Brittany. I play the adorable Rin Leaflet, who is a Wood Elf Ranger. And after me, we have Lika.
Hey, I'm Stephanie. I play the Moon Elf Wizard, Lika. And next up is Flanardius.
Hello all, I'm Scott. I play Flanardius Flubstep, half-elf bard, and master of bagpipes. And is that it? Is that everybody?
I think it is actually.
Oh, yeah.
So this is actually the first time. I'm excited because this is the first time that we've had everyone together in a couple of weeks. So this is going to be a little bit of fun. You guys got in a pretty bad scrape last week. Some enemies from Stole and Ren's past came to town looking to take them out, and Stole was able to catch on to the clues pretty early as to who they were, and was able to make a first strike against them. There were two hags who were hunting you down for killing her sister in a previous adventure that you had before we had started recording. You guys managed to kill the hags, but the hags also have been using flesh golems, and you're currently engaged with the flesh golems, and things are right now. The battle's pretty up in the air. You've got a couple of allies with you. You've got Tessa, who she's struggling with a little identity crisis, but she seems to be holding her own in the fight. And we have the magistrate, who is also kind of giving you guys a hand. So we had just left off with Stole, or not Stole, but Flanardius, kind of giving some heals to Lika, putting himself in danger. And we were getting ready to move into the next person in combat, who is actually Tessa, and she is standing against the wall on the sidewalk. Can everybody see the map?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
badass.
All right. So now we've got a map. Nobody can complain. They don't know who's what and where.
Where am I?
What?
Nothing.
So Tessa, seeing Stole drive the hammer into the creature and seeing the creature starting to rock a little bit, she's gonna kind of charge forward a little bit, and she's gonna make another attack against the flesh golem. So she's going to kind of swing out, and that's a good hit for her. So the creature, with its back to her, she kind of comes down and clobbers it in her flesh golem form, and she does 6 points of physical damage. Of course, the creature's able to shrug it off a little bit, and it turns and looks at her, and you see a bit of slobber Stole as it turns, coming out of its mouth, and some of the black fluid is still leaking from some of the seams where you've been bashing it. It turns around and just, and it's kind of midway turning toward her. She stands her ground, kind of digs her heels in. She looks at you, and her flesh golem form starts to take on a little bit of a gray hue to it. And she gives you a bit of a smile, and it doesn't look like her. You just see this ugly, deformed face kind of grin at you. And she's like, "Now, while his back is turned." And that takes us to the magistrate. The magistrate is going to move in this direction as it sees the second flesh golem beginning to bear down on Flenardius and Lika. He's going to having tried to banish it last week. He's realized that this may not be the best thing in the world for him to try and do. So he's going to what is he going to do here? He's going to use a lightning bolt. Since he's in the direction that he's in, you see him begin to gather his forces together as lightning kind of jumps between his hands, and he throws his hands forward, and he hits the creature. The bolts of lightning strike out from his hands, and the creature begins to reel as it twinges, as it begins to twitch. You can smell a little bit of burning flesh, and once the brightness of the light goes away, you see the charred back of the creature. It turns to face the magistrate, completely ignoring Flenardius and Lika for the moment. And the magistrate kind of bears down, and he's like, "Come on, you bastard!" That's going to end his turn, and we're back around to you, Stoll.
Alrighty. I'm gonna give this flesh golem a real good old 1-2. Gonna take the -5 on my swing for my heavy weapons master attack, and I'm gonna use my inspiration die. I don't know if you want to just roll a d8 and just act like I hit or not.
You can go ahead and do you have your inspiration die?
I don't know how to use it. Flo gave me 1d8, but I don't know how to actually use it.
You just add it to it.
Oh,
You just roll it.
Yeah, just roll it.
So that's a +3 to it.
That's a hit.
And that's hold on. That's +10. I'm gonna use Divine Smite with that. So he takes wait, never mind, ignore that. He just takes 10 extra damage.
Okay. So you reach out with your hammer and you just bring it down as the creature's turned, its back is turned to you, and you connect with the back of its head. You hear this sickening crunch just as the hammer drives into the skull. The creature staggers forward for a moment. And as you pull the hammer out and you hear this as you pull it out of the head, the creature turns from Tessa and begins looking at you, and one eye is just kind of hanging out of the front of its face.
I'm gonna give him one more hit.
Go for it.
What? What?
That's a hit.
Okay.
11 to hit. That hits.
And he's dead. And with my movement, thanks to Heavy Weapons Master, I get one more attack whenever I knock someone dead.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn. I'm gonna target the flesh golem one. I'm gonna run up to him and give him a blast.
All right.
That does miss.
So you slam the second hit into the creature's head, just caving its skull in, and it drops to the ground. Tessa kind of gives a yeah as you do that, and you see this. It's kind of weird to see this flesh golem creature do this little girly dance for a moment, and you turn and you just charge forward to the other one, swinging. But it sees you coming, and it steps to the side as your swing just misses right in front of it. He's then got his attention set on you. So he's going to target you.
Is there no critical failure for the Nat 1?
I didn't even notice it was a Nat 1.
It's the only
thanks
thing
for,
that
thanks
won't
for
hit.
pointing that out. Yeah, you kind of swing and you overstep and you stumble kind of between him and you kind of block the magistrate's ability to get to him at that point. As you come across, the creature's going to make an attack against you. Oh, I didn't realize he got multi-attack. So he's going to take his first swing at you and come down at you. Boy, you guys have had it easy then, because I completely overlooked that multi-attack. He's going to target you, Stoll. But you're stumbling, and he just kind of flails, still twitching from the electric shocks, and it just comes right over top of you. He goes with his left arm, and then he comes back with his right. And that one misses too, as you still continue to stumble forward, almost falling into the magistrate. At this point, I need Ren and Calisan to roll initiative.
I'm the best at initiative.
You did better than me.
Wait, how do I roll initiative again? It's been so long.
It's on your it's on your sheet.
It's on the main tab.
Yeah, it's on the
First page.
Right there in the middle.
Right.
See the little dice next to initiative?
It's right next to your AC.
The +4. You'll see a little gray die.
Oh yeah.
Just hit that.
Holy fuck. I mean, darn.
Oh yeah. Wow. And that actually is going to take us to the top of the round. So we're back up to you, Mr. Eeks.
Okay, I'm going to roll between Flo and Lika,
Okay.
and I'm going to attack with that dagger.
Okay.
Wait,
That's-
I get advantage because he's engaged with people in front of him. I forgot to hit the advantage, but just in case I get a nat 20.
Okay, that's a hit. 24 to hit.
And then I'm just going to roll the d10.
Yep.
A big fat 1.
That's all right. Every little bit helps. So Lika and Flanardius, as you guys are staying there, suddenly you see Eeks dart out from behind a crate, and he just kind of runs or a barrel, and he runs between you guys. He does this really cool roll in the dirt, coming up and just slicing across the legs of the creature. The creature kind of screams out, and for a moment, its face kind of looks stunned, as if it's remembering something horrible. And you hear it just come out with this moan of pain and anger, as it starts to step away and kind of looks around a little confused and not knowing what's going on. Does that end your turn, Eeks?
It does.
Okay. Ren, you are... you're stepping out the door. You see the commotion that's going on in the street. So you're kind of here on the sidewalk as you come out into the street, seeing your friends. Actually, you're going to be more down here. Seeing your friends engaged with this creature. Calisan, you are coming down the street at this end, just kind of in this area over here, coming up upon this battle. So what are you doing, Ren?
I'm going to be very shocked and very confused. I'm not going to do anything currently.
Okay. Give me 1 second here. I'm sending a whisper.
He is aggressively sending that whisper.
Yeah, I am not typing hard. I promise. It's just the position of the microphone. I'm sorry.
It's not a keyboard. It's those old Donkey Kong drums for that N64 game.
Donkey Konga.
Do-do-do-do-do-do. Stone and chisel.
And done. Okay. So that brings us to you, Lika.
Okay. Now that I know how to use my meteors, I'm going to use my bonus action to send out. Sorry, guys. One meteor at the flesh golem.
Okay.
Yeah, it's targeted
Won't that
already.
hit us?
Is that a deck save?
Yeah. So
Hey, stop turning!
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I'm gonna target everybody within the 5 feet, don't I?
Within the 5 feet? No. I don't
Okay.
believe so.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sweet. All right. So I'm attacking him then.
Okay.
I'm just hitting him with 1. Oh, I rolled damage. Hold on. I meant to cast it first. Sorry.
It's okay. He
There we go.
succeeds. So actually, let me take that damage
Okay, yeah.
off.
I was thinking of magic missiles for a second.
Okay.
And then I'm going to cast Firebolt at him. Because it's a cantrip, so as my action, I'm going to cast Firebolt.
All right, but go ahead and roll damage for.
Oh. The other damage? Okay.
Yeah, because he succeeded, it's going to half whatever you.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Now
then we
I'll
need
let
to
you
roll, right?
say what?
And then we need to roll.
I mean, you guys, each square is 5 foot, so really the only person that would technically be in the area would be Stoll, and he's on the other side of the creature, so I'm not going to make anyone else roll at that point.
Okay.
I mean, she's pretty close to him, and she's targeting pretty well right now. So, if she would have if she was concussed or something like that, I might make everybody roll because she might, she may
Kill
fire
everyone.
crazy. But go ahead and re-roll the firebolt. Since you rolled those out of order, I'm gonna give you a second chance at that.
Yay. Okay.
That's better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you target him at all?
No, not for the stupid second one. What? I had him targeted.
All right. Well, that hits. So,
Okay.
and that's another 9 points of damage. Okay. All right. So, Lika, you hit him with the meteor, and it just they're circling around you, and it just one of them flies out, striking the creature on the back of the head. It or in the face as its head jerks sideways. You blast it with a fireball. And now its chest has some charred marks, and you guys can now start to see a little bit of black fluid draining from its body where the stitching is. Does that conclude your turn?
Yeah, that concludes my turn.
All right, Flenardius, what are you doing, buddy?
All right. I think I'm going to attack him with my rapier, and but before I do so, I'm going to 1 second here. Okay, I have to swing to attack first. If I hit, then I can add the buff, which is going to be Psychic Blade. So I guess I'll go ahead and roll for attack.
Don't forget to target.
Yeah, don't forget to target. I'll fix that for you, Lika.
Okay.
What?
What?
What is the AC?
Yeah, I'm looking. Hold on.
Yeah, something went wonky because, like I said, I can
No,
target.
that's right.
So they generally have low AC, just they're freaking tanks.
Yeah. Yeah, he's right. So yeah, 9 hits. So you charge forward and you begin cutting into him with your rapier. Go ahead and roll for damage.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so you guys see Flenardius take on this action that you've never seen before as he begins to charge forward at the creature, just slicing the rapier across his body. You see cuts beginning to form everywhere, and the creature kind of turns and starts trying to step away. It's still got a little bit of a confused look on its face as it's looking around almost in anguish. It looks at the body of the other golem, and it's looking at the 2 hags that are laying on the ground. And it's just kind of giving you guys a look as it starts to try and get away. Does that end your turn?
Yes, that ends my turn.
All right.
It's like a
Tessa,
purring walrus.
Tessa, seeing you guys going into action, begins to she runs over into this area. You can hear her feet sloshing on the ground. Not to be left out, she's going to take. She actually gets multi-attack too, so she slams into the creature as she charges forward. Make sure she's got him targeted. And that's a 25 to hit. And she just brings her hand down right on its shoulder, and it starts to buckle at the knees a little bit as she brings her other hand around to attack. Just slamming it right into the face. The creature takes the punch and looks in her direction, and it looks confused. Like, why are you attacking me? You're one of my kind. That brings us around to the magistrate, who, he's kind of pulling on your shoulder, Stoll, as you stumbled in front of him. He's like, "Get out of my way, you bumbling oaf!" And he starts to work his way around this way. As he reaches out with his hand, you can see that there's sparks flying off of his fingertips, and he tries to lay it on the creature. And that's a hit.
I just imagine Stoll going, "Sorry."
And as he grabs the creature's the back of its calf, you see the creature's leg starts to spasm, and it turns around, and its body begins to jerk as lightning starts flying off of the magistrate's hand. And that takes us now to you, Calisan.
You tell that it's resisting all of his damage.
I'm sorry?
Can you tell that it's resisting all of his damage?
Yes.
Okay, I just gotta check.
Alright.
Yes, it does.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
Let me paint the picture for you, Calisan. You see all of your friends fighting a flesh golem, and there's another flesh golem that's helping them.
Oh, okay.
What are you doing? Hold person. You got to target him first. So you attempt to cast hold person on the creature, but the creature is able to, with its feeble mind, it's somehow able to resist the spell. But it does turn in your direction as it knows instinctively that something from that direction has tried to take control of it.
Hello.
Does that end your turn?
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Stoll.
Bring in the hammer. No, I'm just gonna give him a good old bash over the head.
All right.
Bink.
That's a hit.
I'll do it once more. And bonk.
All right. So the creature, you see it turn and look over your shoulder at something behind you as you take advantage of the situation, and you kind of batters up, swing, and catch him upside the head. His face flies over in one direction, seeing his jaw disconnect and fly over top of the of Flanardius's head and slam into the wall next to where Ren is standing. As the creature begins to turn around, you recover the swing and you come back in the other direction, slamming it where you intend to hit it in the head. It's able to get one arm up and it hits the arm, but it does stagger the creature and it falls over toward Tessa, who is standing ready to defend herself against it. It's looking very rough and there's a lot of blood coming off of it, but since you're the last person to attack it, it's going to make an attack against you, Stoll. So it's going to take its first swing at you. And you kind of take the hammer up and you block the first swing as it comes at you, kind of using it two-handed and block it with the handle of the hammer. And it takes its other hand and it comes to swing at you again. And you step back out of the way and you knock its hand down with the butt of the hammer, just kind of knocking it away. And that's going to bring us around to the top again. To you, Eeks. The creature now has its back to you and it's focusing on Stoll.
I'm going to stab it in its calves.
It's the wall.
Who's the wall?
The wall of damage.
That's a hit.
Bink. Yeah.
So you begin slicing into this creature's calves from behind, just kind of maniacally, just shing, 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 as you're slicing across it. You find you cut something vital as just lots of blood or black liquid just begins to pour out of the legs of this creature. Especially a couple of the cuts hit inside the thigh where the main arteries are, and you guys see blood just beginning to shoot out of this creature as it falls to its knees. It puts one hand out to you, Stoll, and it grabs your armored chest, starts to try and pull its way up, and then it slumps down to the ground, and you see this trail of black coming down your chest as it falls to the ground, and its hand just kind of slid down your chest. And the creature's dead. And that's going to end combat for this evening.
I'd like to roll damage and smash its skull in.
As the creature falls to the ground, you just take the hammer, you turn it upside down, and you just slam it down on the creature's skull, and it just collapses underneath.
Are the witches' bodies around here too?
Yes. One is laying on the sidewalk.
Hold on. Before you do that, I'm going to loot the bodies.
All right. You go to the first one. As the creature's falling, you don't even wait for it to hit the ground, Eeks. You immediately turn and begin looting bodies. You find on one, you find a couple of gold necklaces that are hidden away in a pouch, almost like a secret pouch that was sewn inside of her dress. That's on the one that's laying in the middle of the street. Bonnie.
Do they seem special?
You can't tell. They just look like very pretty gold bracelets. Okay. You find a couple of pieces of silver on her too. As you dart across to the other one, you can hear Stoll just crunching bone behind you as he's slamming the hammer into the body you just looted. You work your way over to the other hag, and you find a book in a bag on her side. The book is made of It appears to actually be made out of flesh. And as you open it up and start looking through it, you can't decipher the language, but it almost looks like it was written in blood. Do you want to keep that book, or do you want to just toss it aside?
Flipping through the pages, do I recognize the language? I know Common and Goblin.
No, you do not recognize the language.
Okay, I'm still going to hold on to it.
Okay. So you kind of stuff that away, and you find 3 pieces of gold on her, and a necklace made out of what appears to be human fingers, the bones.
I'm just going to leave that. That's a little too nasty, even for a goblin.
All right.
The flesh hide book, yeah, I'll take that all day.
You never know what it's going to bring forth. So beyond that, you just kind of loot the bodies, and just as you move out of the way, Stoll is standing over top of you, and he just brings the hammer down. You can hear the spine of the creature just snap in half. What are you doing at this point, Stoll?
Absolutely thrashing both bodies, like screaming out Revel's name and Arwen's name, like unrecognizable.
So so you guys see your normally I can't really say stoic, but friendly Goliath just smashing these bodies into the mud. The people in the town around are now like gathering around. Some of you can see that they're pointing at the hags. They're of course, obviously, a lot of them are pointing at Stoll, but a few of them you see are pointing at Tessa, who has now reverted back to the form that you guys are normally used to seeing her in. And she looks kind of frightened as she's looking around. The magistrate pushes his way through the crowd, and he looks at her and goes, "Shapeshifter! Someone grab her!" As you see some of the guards begin to move in to that direction, and Captain Piltrop kind of pulls his sword and lowers it in front of him as he approaches Tessa from the side.
Lika's gonna go stand by her side and be like, let's not rush to anything here. She did help us after all.
I need what are the rest of you doing?
I'm going to wait and see how it plays out.
All right.
Even though Flanardis is a little hurt, I'm going to go by her side and block as well.
All right. What about you, Ren?
Rin's gonna comfort Stoll.
You're gonna go comfort Stoll?
Yeah.
I have to close. Somebody else is in training.
All right. Stoll, you're still slamming into the things. What are you doing, Calisan?
I'm gonna cast Mirror Image and basically stand in front of everyone.
In front of who? All right.
There's just 3 of me now.
Okay. So you guys are all surrounding her. Lika, give me a persuasion check.
Nice.
I hate these dice.
The magistrate looks at Piltrop, and he motions forward and says, "Take her! Step aside now!" And you see sparks of lightning kind of go between his eyes. His eyes kind of sparkle a little bit with lightning, and you see sparks on his fingertips as he points in your direction. The guards continue to move in. What are you guys doing?
I'm just going to say, is this really how you're going to treat your own people that have been faithful to you?
Where are they coming from? Are they coming from like where Calisan is, or are they coming from down below?
They're kind of surrounding you guys now. There's like 6 guards all the way around. They've all got their swords pulled, and Captain Piltrop is in the front. He looks. His face is kind of hard to read, and he's like, "We don't want any trouble. Just give us the girl." And Tessa at this point is like pulling on each of you. Don't let him take me, please. I wasn't trying to hurt anyone. I just wanted friends. That's all I wanted.
I'm gonna look at Tessa and ask her if she can shrink down, like miniature size. Can they do that?
No. They can assume forms, but they can't really change their. So that's why every creature that she was turning into looked like the creature and had some of the things of the creature, but they were smaller in size.
She can't change her mass. Just
Right. She can't change her mass, just her appearance. She looks at you and she was like, I don't know how to do that. And as she looks at you, you see her skin start to take on a greenish tint and her hair starts to look like yours a little bit. It's almost like looking at a female version of Eeks standing there. But the fear on her face is evident. And she kind of grabs onto your shirt and gets down, like in your face, Eeks. And she's like, don't let them take me. Please, they'll do horrible things to me.
How far away are they from us?
Huh?
How far away are they from us?
They have surrounded you guys. They're about 5 feet out, and they're starting to move in. They've got swords drawn. You guys are kind of in a circle in the middle.
I'm gonna push through the people in my way because I'm over here. I was smashing the witch, and I'm gonna see what's going on. Do I see what's going on over here? I'm assuming I do.
I'm actually going to set the scene here. Give me just a moment. This is dead.
This is dead.
Lika is here. She is here. Eeks is here. Flanardi is here. Ren is here. Calisan is here. Stol is over here. And let me grab a bunch of guards. Give me just one moment, guys. Sorry for the
3
delay. All right. So we're going to have... I don't think we're going to go into combat, but just in case, we'll go ahead.
You know our group.
I know your group.
How tall is she? Is she pretty close to my
She's
height?
like 5'2".
Damn, that's like 2 feet difference.
Yeah,
I was going to say, like, just have her take off running. I'll run with her, and then we'll split up and hopefully confuse them. But she's taller than me, so that's not going to work.
I got a plan that's just like that.
Okay, well, save it. Just give me 1 second so I can set the scene here so everybody's on the same page and nobody can say I didn't know.
Can you pass
We're
it
still
up?
gonna say
Oh
it.
my god!
I absolutely do not feel like I'm on the same page.
You know what? Patrick?
Stole.
I never realized this, but Floridius's picture, I mean, it just looks like he's it's not his hand, it's someone's just thumbs down punching him in the face.
Someone's like, you did that!
Yeah, I
It's
can
like
see
it's
that.
like a depressing punch.
Okay, so we're gonna add.
You notice he's not wearing a shirt.
Stole's counterpart casts Disappointment Punch at 7th level.
Okay, so he's here. Biltrop's here. Guard 1 is here. Guard 2 is here. Let me get this out of the way. Guard 3 is here. Guard 4 is here. And guard 5 is here. Okay. So, oops, didn't mean to turn him. Okay. So we got guard.
What's up, Gene?
Guard. And guard. All right, so you guys can see everything now, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you guys have kind of started being, let me get these in a little bit better position here. All right, so that's kind of where you guys are. And Tessa is now kind of squatted down, begging Eeks to save her. Who wants to take the lead in trying to persuade the group?
I shall!
Who wants to help him?
I will.
All right, so I'm going to give you advantage, Stoll.
So we need people with high charisma here.
I got a high charisma, man! I'm going to push past this guard here, and I'm going to go up to Tessa. and I'm gonna like stand over her. And I'm gonna look directly at the magistrate and smash not smash my hammer onto her, but next to her, and call out, "Whoever wants her has to fight through me and the rest of my group, I can assume." That's intimidation,
The
baby.
second you said I can assume.
I'm not helping this.
The second you said I assume, I wanted to throw you at disadvantage. Just so you know that. I assume.
I'm not helping at this point.
All right.
Okay.
So does anybody want to help him with this? And so you're going to roll intimidation instead of persuasion.
Well, that doesn't seem very persuasive.
I'll help.
So, Lika, you still have these meteors swirling around you. So you kind of assume this defensive position as the meteors begin to swirl a little faster. Stoll slams his hammer into the ground, stating what he said. Give me a roll, an intimidation roll with advantage.
Yes.
As you slam it into the ground, you see the guards kind of jump and they move back a little bit. And their arms kind of drop and spread wide for a second, and they quickly put their swords up. The magistrate, you see him, the sparks stop around his hand, and he lowers it to the ground. He goes, "I see. So, then you will accept responsibility for her?" Looking directly at you, Stoll.
Yeah. Whatever happens, it's on me.
And she
Whoever
kind of
dies, take my life.
She kind of moves around behind you, Stoll, and she peeks around at the magistrate from your side. Very well. If anything happens, I'll hold you and your party responsible. Looks at Piltrop. Get this mess cleaned up. I'm going to go rest. And with that, you see him turn, and he begins to walk off toward his house, getting himself out of the road and onto the sidewalk, and then kicking some of the mud off of his shoes. The crowd, you hear a lot of murmuring through the crowd, but it slowly begins to disperse as the guards start to move away, sheathing their swords. And Piltrop walks up to you, Lika, and he kind of leans in and says, "I hope you and your friends know what you're doing."
We do.
He looks over at Tessa for a moment. He goes, "Shame. Thought she was cute. All right, well, carry on." And he looks over at the guards, and they all begin to walk away, leaving you guys alone, standing in the middle of the street. Some of them are starting to drag the flesh golem bodies out. You hear clapping, and you guys turn and look, and you see two women standing off to the side. One is a halfling, a very pretty halfling woman. She's got a very flamboyant outfit on. You see a leer draped over her shoulder, and she's the one that's clapping. Standing next to her is a woman in green leather armor with a bow fastened across her shoulder, and a sword at her side. She's elven, and she just kind of looks at you guys and turns and walks across the street and goes into the tavern. But the halfling woman looks at you and she's like, "Bravo, bravo! Good to see a group of people who will stand up for someone else. My name is Gloria. How are you doing today?"
Well, we just killed some flesh golems and some hags, so pretty good.
"I should say, you guys did quite well. I used to travel with a party of my own, you know. Me and my friend. You have to ignore her. She's a bit of a fusspot. Has been for a few years now, but I'm not. Who wants some drinks?"
You buying?
Of course. Say, you wouldn't happen to be a bard, would you?
I'm somewhat of a bard, yes. Why?
I like those bagpipes. I was just wondering, maybe tonight you and I can do a little gig together. I was just hired as we came into town. We stop by this way quite often, and you know, I like to sing, I like to dance, I like to show the people a good time.
Can I insight check her? Just get a general vibe of her.
Sure.
Can I help?
No. She is a halfling bard who seems very sincere and genuine.
Okay, I want to ask who was laughing.
I think everybody was.
Okay, because didn't like some of you roll natural ones and just just a little bit ago? That's what I thought.
Oh no, I was
You're
laughing
just
at
like,
all.
no. All right,
Okay.
well, I would like to use Divine Sense again
Go ahead.
to see what I can sniff out of him. So I do that, and I look right at him. What do I get?
They smell beautiful, like
Yeah.
like flowers.
Oh.
And she looks up at you and she goes, "I know what you're doing. All you had to do was ask. I could have told you anything you wanted to know. So, anyway, who's up for some drinks?"
Fulinardius is.
Buy a bag of
That's-
water.
I've been gone for a while. I could use a good drink.
Same.
Yeah, quick question. What the hell, Callison? Where'd you go?
I've been scouting.
What
Is
happened
that
to your
what
hair?
Nothing.
And he kind of rubs the back of his hair. You hear so you guys are talking, and as this conversation is going on, he rubs the back of his head. You see, hold on one second. Bella comes out of the tavern, and she's like, "Gloria, it's about time you got here. I expected you 2 days ago. You know, people have been asking about you. I hope you're ready to play." And she brings her inside, and her and Gloria start talking. She's like, "I'm not ready to play yet. I just made some new friends out here in the street. You should have seen the fight. It was amazing. The big one with the hammer. Oh, my Lord. I wish you would have been with us earlier." And she's like, "Yeah, well, you know, you've got to let that go." And she pulls her into the tavern. They start laughing, and they're walking into the bar. Boris sees you guys from the distance, and he comes walking up, and he looks at you, Stoll, and he says, "I am now sure, with you on our side, we shall defeat the Tallyman." Yes. Have you heard Gloria play before?
No.
You are in for such a treat. She is amazing. Me and the boys will be by later on this evening.
Are we talking like normal amazing or like magic amazing? Because there's a very strict difference here.
To hear her voice is like magic.
Oh,
If I was into halflings, I must say I would be with her. But and he looks over at Ren, and he goes, "I like them a little more, my own size. You know what I mean?" And he
I think you should extrapolate. Sorry, I don't know that word. I think you should explain.
75.
And he kind of raises his eyebrows and points over in the with his head in the direction of Ren, and he said, "Maybe you could put good word in for me."
I'll put a word in for you, all right.
"Oh, is she yours? I did not mean to step on toes. I am sorry."
No. I'll put a word in for you. Hey, Ren! And I call out.
"No, not now, not now!" And he begins walking away. He's like, "I've got
Yes,
I've got work to do." And
Come
he
here!
starts,
I got something for you. It's pretty important.
What is it?
Just come here. Come here.
Okay, I
An
walk
inside
over.
joke.
And Boris is quickly like helping some of the guys start dragging the flesh golem out of the street. He's like, I'll see you later, friend Stoll. Don't forget to stop by the shop. And he starts pulling it away.
Hey, nothing, Ren. You're fine. Just
Aw.
you know, yeah. Where have you been?
I've been sad recently, so I've been alone, even though I don't like to be alone. But I'm better now.
You could have just let us know, man. You just kind of disappeared. It was some magic or something.
Well, that's just how I roll.
I guess so. Let's go inside and get some water. And I walk into the tavern.
Okay.
I believe that's the first time I've heard him say, "Get some water."
Well, you missed a bit because I don't drink anymore.
He has missed a bit.
Oh my! What?
All right. So what's everybody doing? Right now you're standing in the middle of the street, trying to embarrass Boris.
Trying.
Flanardes will follow the halfling into the tavern.
She kind of looks back over her shoulder at you guys, and she's like, well, are you coming or aren't you?
Yep.
And you see her walk inside. The batwing door is kind of flopping behind her. As you guys come into the tavern, there are a few people in there. Some of them are glaring in Tessa's direction as she comes in, and Bella yells at her from behind the bar, or yells out to her from behind the bar. And she's like, come on, darling. You just come on back here. Everything's going to be fine. Let's take you in the back and get you something to eat. And she looks at you guys kind of like sheepishly with that expression of, will I be okay?
I'm just gonna kind of nod to her, like, yeah, you're gonna be fine.
Okay. You won't go anywhere, will you?
Is she talking to any one of us in particular?
She's talking to all of you. She's kind of just looking back and forth to you guys.
If you haven't noticed, it doesn't look like we're leaving this town anytime soon.
Well, we do go a lot of places, so, you know.
All right.
Speaking of which, we have some things to talk about.
You and I?
Oh no, the whole group.
Oh. Okay. Well,
God, shooting her down at every turn, man.
Flanardes is just going to hurry into the tavern.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Leonardus, you head into the tavern and you see Gloria is at the bar, and she's like gathering up a bunch of mugs full of ale, and she turns around. She's got like 3 in each hand hooked through the handles, and she's holding them out to you guys, going 6 for 6. Here you go. And she walks over to a table and sets them down. It's a table right in the middle of the room, and she just kind of plops them down on the ground, or not on the ground, but on the table. And she walks back over to the bar, comes back with a pitcher and sets it down, and she's got her cup. She turns the chair around backwards and sits with her arms crossed over the back of the chair. So, tell me a little bit about yourselves. What brings you to Fillion?
A series of unfortunate events.
Seconded.
I think I read a book about those once.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, look at him. Isn't he a charmer? My goodness. We've got to keep you away from Arwen, that's for sure. So, what's been going on? You guys are new here, right?
Somewhat new, yeah.
Will you be here for the show tonight?
Should be.
I hope so. I've got
Yeah,
a special little number worked up.
Oh, do tell.
Is it 75?
You listen here, Eeks. My mathematics skills are unmatched.
Oh, I'm sure Goliath is good at math.
Yeah.
I've never met one before.
Probably won't mean another.
Maybe. So, tell me a little bit about you, dear, as she looks at Ren.
Oh, there's not much to tell. I'm a bit of a mystery.
You know what? We just traveled here from Brillwine. If there was a young man there, he's looked so much like he could have been your brother.
You say Brillwine?
Yes. Why? Have you been there?
What was the name you mentioned earlier? I heard you say it, but I thought I misheard it. Did you say Arwen?
Arwen? No. Arwen. My friend. And she points over at the woman sitting at the bar who's very grumpy demeanor, slender, tall for an elf, long, straight blonde hair. She's kind of just off to the corner, drinking by herself. Yes, she's well, we lost her husband a while back. We were in a party, and well, we thought we were more than we were. But anyway, enough of
Enough
that.
about that. That elf
Exactly.
you mentioned.
Yes,
Did you happen to catch his name?
I did not. But he was in Brillwine for a few days. The whole time we were performing there, he seemed like he was searching for something. He kept asking questions around the town. Couldn't help but notice him. I mean, my lord, he's a good-looking man. But why?
Well, what did he say?
He really didn't speak much to us. But from what I understood, he was trying to find out why they were rounding up mages and such in that area. You've heard what's going on over there, right?
No.
But to be quite honest, it's terrible. It seems that Kilgrave, the Lord Magistrate over there, he's got his armies going around drafting anyone by force who can use magic in any way, shape, or form. When his parties come into town and they take people, they're just never heard from again. It doesn't matter if you're just the most meager potion maker or if you're a master mage. It's gotten to the point where people with our particular skill set, and she looks over at you, Flanardius, when she says that, we try to keep as much under wraps as we can when we're on that side.
I'm going to look to Callison and ask her, what else can you tell us about this Kilgrave?
Well, I've never met the man personally, although I have performed in Borg, dismal town that it is. He's a stern man, and some people believe he may be making a play for power in that region. He's got a large Goliath, who is his chief general, fearsome-looking warrior with these gloves that seem to just make him stronger than he is, but stronger than a normal man would be. You never see his face, though. He's always behind a helmet. I've only seen Lord Kilgrave one time. He had a I could only assume it's a wizard with him, but you couldn't see his face. He was frail looking, seemed weak, but yet made the hair on the back of my neck stand up, you know?
Did you see his skin color?
Well, he was mostly wrapped in bandages and ornate robes, very ornate robes. They had a weird symbol on them. There was something I've never seen before. It looks like a skeletal hand
holding some scales.
Yes, exactly. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Has Lika heard the name Kilgrave before?
Everyone has pretty much heard the name Kilgrave. He's well known throughout the Empire. He's kind of King Roland's warden of the East, if you will. He's the person that has been placed in charge of security on that side of the continent. The continent that you guys live on are split down the center with a mountain range. And this is pretty common knowledge. In the mountains live a few races: the dwarves, the Goliath, the Dragonborn. They all reside in the larger peaks of the mountains and in areas where it's hard for humans and elves and gnomes to really thrive. The Goliath, as Stoll knows, they're a secluded race. They kind of keep to themselves, and they live in a caste society in this world. The Dragonborn are warriors, but they also are a very learned race, and they live more toward the northern region of the mountain ranges. And then the dwarves actually live more inside the mountains, as they've carved many cities out from inside, doing a lot of mining and the craft work and things like that. But Kilgrave is, people know the name. Most people in your region and the people that live on the western side of the mountain range don't know much about it. And the way the continent works, I used to have a map. I don't have it. I've got it. I just don't have it put into here. But I'll rebuild it and get it in here. On the western side of the mountains, it's lush forests, jungles, just a wonderful variety of landscape. But on the eastern side, things are a little harsher. It starts off kind of lush at the bottom, but as you start going north, it begins to turn more rocky. And then when you get to where Borg is in a perpetual state of snow. It's far to the north. And so, yeah, everyone at the table has heard in some way, shape, or form about Lord Kilgrave. So, but yes, those are the things that have been going on over there. So, but you do look remarkably like him, and I only say that because you're so pretty, and he was quite handsome, that's for sure.
Rin's gonna get up teary-eyed, and she's gonna go find a table to sit at by herself.
I hope I didn't say anything wrong. She's looking at the rest of you.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
That's not like her.
What about you, Stoll? Do you know?
I'm gonna go check that out. Then I get up and head over to where Rin's sitting.
Cool. Good talk.
Man talk.
I'm going to hold up a finger and I'll say I'll be right back. And I would like to go out and use my contact thing again. Can I send out another probe like I did the first one? I'd like more information on Kilgrave.
All right, so you get up and you kind of you work your way out, leaving your friends at the table. As you go out into the street, you see a band of kids kind of running around. They look like street children, some of the orphans maybe. You make a symbol with your hand that as you look in their direction, and one of them kind of looks at you and nods and breaks away from the rest of the group. I'll be right back. Hold on 1 second. He walks over and gets him. What do you want, Mr. Goblin?
I need more information on as much information as possible on Kilgrave. You said he was a magistrate over in Borg.
Yes.
Okay.
He's a chief magistrate.
Okay. He's the chief magistrate over in Borg.
Oh, yeah. I tell you what. I'll see what I can find out for you, and I'll be back this evening.
Okay, and I'll slip him 3 gold.
He takes the gold and he bites down and he goes, "Not that I don't trust you, but can't be too careful, you know?"
Mm-hmm.
Slips it into his pocket. "All right, sir. I'll be in touch." And he runs off. You see him start playing with the other kids again. He looks over his shoulder at you one last time before they disappear around a corner, and he gives you a nod and ducks out.
Okay. And before I go back in, I'm going to take kind of a once over around the building and see if there's anybody like watching us or anything like that.
You begin walking around the building, and then you kind of scurry up one of the gutters running down the back. As you do, you see someone through a window. You see movement in a window. Do you want to investigate?
Is it like a dark room that they're in?
None of the rooms are really dark. You just saw movement.
I don't even know why I'm asking. Yes, I'm going to investigate.
All right, so you work your way over to the window, and you find yourself looking in Lika's room. And just as you get there, you see the door shut, as if someone had just exited the room.
But Lika's downstairs.
Yes,
correct?
Lika's downstairs.
I'm gonna go back in the tavern real quick and see who comes down the stairs.
All right, so you duck down into the tavern, but by the time you've come down, whoever was coming down the stairs had already made it down. If they did come down.
Did I get a good look at the guy? Or
You didn't get any look at anybody. You saw movement. When you got to the window to be able to look inside, the door was just shutting.
I'm going to go over to Lika and tug on her dress.
I'm gonna look down and be like, "What's up?"
I'm going to like pull her hair down further and whisper in her ear. Somebody was just in your room.
I'm gonna look at him very intently and be like, "Do you know who was in my room?"
No, I could not get a good look, but somebody was in there. Did you have anything valuable in there?
I am just going to go and try very casually run back upstairs.
So the rest of you are sitting there, and you see Lika get up, and she starts walking upstairs, and Gloria, who's sitting at the table, just kind of watches. She watches the exchange. She sees you get up, and she looks over at you, Flanardius, and she's like, "Quite an interesting group that you're traveling with, isn't it? Kind of rude."
Very interesting, yes. Very secretive.
I see that. You would think something weird's going on, wouldn't you?
This kind of thing happens all the time. I'm always wondering what's going on.
Oh. So what's your story, big fella?
Gonna look around and make sure she's talking to me.
She's looking directly at you, with a little bit of a smile on her face and her drink in her hand.
Well, what do you want to know? I mean,
She kind of leans over and whispers in your ear, and she's like, "What college did you go to?"
I'm gonna whisper her in her ear. College of Whispers.
Maybe we should get together later. Exchange secrets.
What do you have in mind?
I don't know. You'll just have to come find out, won't you?
I guess I will. Where can I find you later?
Oh, I'll be here. Trust me, you won't be able to miss me. She points over at the stage.
Okay.
I'm going to run by the tables like, you two should play together. I'm going to run up the stairs, follow Lika.
All right. So, Lika, you go upstairs and you open the door to your room, and the first thing you see is your book laying on your bed, and there's a little piece of paper folded over the top.
I am instantly running to it and picking it up and reading the note. But first, actually, before I read the note, I am actually inspecting the book to make sure it's really my book and make sure that I'm not imagining things and make sure that there's no pages missing. You
thumb through the book really quickly, and you you see there are no pages missing, but you do see some things have been added to the book. You open the note, and it reads. I just sent you a whisper.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
I'm gonna walk in and ask, "What does it say?"
I followed Leaks up, by the way.
You follow. Gloria's just sitting there going. She just watches you walk away, and she looks at you, Calisan, and she kind of raises her eyebrows and kicks. She gets up, turns the seat around, leans it back, and puts her feet up on the table, and she's like, "So, guess it's just me and you then."
I'm gonna go where they're going.
And as you get up and walk away, you see her. She kind of looks at you, and she's got this rejected look on her face, and she lifts her arm and sniffs under her armpits, and she's like, "No, it can't be me."
We are the rudest group ever.
We all need to work on our manners, apparently.
Okay, well, before we go into Lika's reveal, let's move over to Stoll and Ren. Ren, you're sitting at the table, and you see Stoll come walking over.
What do you want, Stoll?
Is there something we don't know about that you do?
It's nothing. I'm fine.
You don't look fine, man.
I don't know, just like news coming in. It's all confusing.
Did she
You don't
mention
have to
someone
worry
you know?
about me, though.
The barrage of keys.
I get the feeling you knew the guy she mentioned.
Yeah. Actually, I think it might be my brother, Xavier. We've been together for quite some while, and I don't know, I just don't want to talk about it right now, Stoll. I'm sorry.
That's fine. She mentioned someone I knew too. So I know how you feel. And I'm gonna head upstairs. Alright, now I'm gonna head over to the table where Calisan was sitting. I don't want to leave the chick alone there. I feel bad. I'm looking over like, what the hell? Where'd everyone go?
So she sits down, and you sit down next to her, and she looks over at you, and she goes, "You want another drink?"
Get a man a glass of water? Question mark.
She looks at you, and she has this like wandering look as she looks you up and down, and she goes, "Who do you serve?"
Tear.
Ah, Tia. Yes, I understand now. I get where you're coming from. I'll be right back.
No. My God never stopped me from drinking.
And she gets up and she goes over to the bar. She has a whispered exchange with Bella, and she comes back and she's got 2 cups. She sets them down on the table. One is water, and the other is
Poison.
nope. It's the raspberry drink that you had before.
Where did you get that?
And she says, well, I make sure that Bella keeps a little stash set aside just for me, and I think you might like it. Give it a shot.
I couldn't. I'm sorry.
It's your loss. As she reaches down and grabs it, and you just see her guzzle it down, and she runs the back of her hand across her mouth, and she slams it onto the table. And she's like, "I'm gonna have fun with you." Yes, I am.
Want a sip of water to chase it? And I push my cup of water towards her.
And she pushes it back. She goes, "Never touch this stuff."
Dies 3 days later of dehydration.
Roll Constitution, Gloria.
Let's roll. Let's go back upstairs to Lika.
Yeah, I'm just holding my book tightly, looking at this note now.
And you see Eeks is kind of standing in the door with his head cocked sideways, and he asks you the question, and you see Flanardius's frowed head kind of pop around the corner, and then you see Calisan on the other side. So they're like leaning in the doorway, and Eeks is standing framed by them with his little self just looking at you.
I just imagine like the Three Stooges heads popping around.
Pretty much. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Look,
So what does it say?
I guess. Yeah, that's exactly it.
So Stoll smashes his head through the floorboards, jumping up. So what's it say?
Like, well, I guess I have something I have to do tonight, but it's all good. It's good.
You got a job?
I guess. And then I'm just gonna sit down on my bed and I'm gonna start reading through my book to look at all the new notations.
As you look at the book, you see there are. You look at the cover, and the cover written in a beautiful, almost perfect elven handwriting. It says the underneath the title that you can't make out is written "The Prophecies of Euthio the Seer." As you open the book and you begin thumbing through, you see also written in the same handwriting, you see a sentence written in the margins of one of the pages, "What is the cure?" ? And then as you flip further through, you see another note written in all capital letters. "Daywalkers, of course, I must tell Lika." And it's underlined several times.
Sorry, I'm making notes. Have I heard of daywalkers before?
You have not.
Okay. I'm just gonna kind of sit here and puzzle through this and like pull out my other notebook with all my haphazardness in it, and I'm gonna start like flipping through it and comparing it and trying to see if there's anything that I've pieced together before that makes more sense of all of this.
And so the three of you are just standing there as she's completely ignoring you. You see her begin to start thumbing through, cross-referencing, writing notes in a journal as she's looking at things. And for all intents and purposes, she's pretty much forgotten that you're there.
Yeah, literally, she doesn't even remember you guys are standing in the doorway anymore.
I'm gonna nod
Claudius,
to.
she's getting a present. Do you want to check our room?
Come again?
She got a present in her room. I mean, do you want to check ours?
Is this a ruse?
No.
He's got a present for you.
So Flo, you want to?
Never mind. Then I guess.
Can I see if he's like messing with me?
You want to do an insight check?
Sure.
Give me an insight check.
That was such an innocent statement.
I mean, he's looking at you like, "Hey, let's go see if we got presents in our room."
There's no trust in this group at all.
I'd like to roll insight. No trust.
I think we're good, Callison. I don't think there's any. Okay, yeah, let's go see.
Such little manners and such little trust. It's so hilarious.
So you guys run down the hallway to your room, and you open it up, and it's your room. Nothing in it.
Damn it.
Sigh.
After they take off running, I'm going to step into Lika's room and shut the door. And is there a lock on it?
Yes, all the rooms have locks.
Then I'm going to lock it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright,
I've not even noticed. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like I kind of noticed that there's still somebody standing there to a little bit, but beyond that, I've not noticed anything.
Flanagan's just gonna run back and see a locked door and get pissed.
Okay, so this is how I envision this happening. You guys take off running down the hall. You look in the room, and there's nothing there. And Flanardius comes running back to her room, and he sees the door shut, and he tries the handle, and then he's just got this mad look on his face. Just, the hell?
I'd like to roll insight.
You're not there.
No, the door.
Yeah,
The door. The door's lying. It's not actually locked.
What are you doing, Calisan?
I'm a little disappointed that there's no presents.
All right, so Stoll, you're sitting at the table with Gloria, and she looks at you and goes, so have you been traveling with this lot long?
For a fair amount of time, yeah.
Oh, you're as strange as the rest of them.
Yeah, we're a bit of a ragtag bunch, but we get the job done.
Oh, interesting. What job would that be?
It varies. Top secret currently. Not to make a big deal or anything, but we're a big deal.
Oh, yes, I'm sure you are. And she kind of nods and raises her eyebrows and gives you kind of this, okay, he's crazy smile. It's like, well, I tell you what, I hope you're here for the show. I'm going to go join my friend now. You have a good day. And she gets up.
Still just starts fucking wheezing.
She starts to walk away, and as she does, she's got a good little shake going on. I mean, for a little halfling woman, she's very beautiful.
She got a donk.
Yep, she's got a donk.
She is a quarter of my height.
And you see her walk. You see her walk over to one of the bar stools. She just kind of puts her hand up on it, and you see her jump easily into the bar stool, and she just kind of slides in, crosses her legs, and starts. Her and Bella and the elven woman begin conversation. Her and Bella start laughing. The elven woman kind of rolls her eyes and takes another drink. And in the back, through the door in the kitchen, you see Tessa come out, kind of sheepishly, and she's got her apron on, and she walks over. She talks to Bella, and she comes out, and she starts to wait on a table. But the people that are sitting at the table kind of just turn their backs to her and ignore her. And so she stands there for a moment, and she turns and she walks to another table. The people there do the same thing. And finally, her friend just can't take it anymore. The other barmaid comes out, and she stands up on one of the tables, and she says, all right, that's enough. I've seen this girl wait on you for years now, and you have done nothing but been nice to her this entire time. And now today, we find out that she may be just a little bit different. Even though she risked her life to save this town, you're going to treat her like this. I'll not stand for it. I see one of you turn your back to her one more time, and I'm going to whop you right here. She picks up a spoon, off of a big wooden spoon off the thing, and she turns and she looks at you, Stoll, and she says, even you.
What the heck, man?
Well, I thought. Now, this is Tessa. Tessa, you go wait on tables. Anyone what doesn't want to let her wait on them, going to answer to me. And she walks up to you, Stoll, and she goes, understood?
What did I do, man?
What did I do indeed? It's you and your friends what made her feel so self-conscious anyway. And she turns and walks away.
It's like two of us. Calm down.
and
I protected her.
Tessa kind of looks, and she walks over and she goes, you have to ignore her. She really cares about me, that's all. You guys, you were wonderful. Thank you very much.
Wait on me whenever you want. You might wait for a while though. Ha ha ha. That's my high charisma. I'd like to order some food actually.
What would you like?
You guys said you still do breakfast, right?
Well, it's a little late in the afternoon now for breakfast.
Can I pay extra to get some breakfast?
Let me see what I can do. And
I love breakfast.
I'll cook you something up, even if they won't. And she walks off into the back. Okay, so Eeks and Lika, you're alone in the room together.
Can Flanarius ask something real quick? Or does Lika's room have a window?
Yes, on the outside.
Okay, Flanarius would like to try to sneak out and listen in from the window.
Flanardius is not necessarily a nimble person, so I'm going to need Flanardius to give me an acrobatics check.
He's also not 20 feet tall.
You're misguided.
Well, you can you work your way back into your room, walking past Calisan. You open the door, or actually, Calisan, you went back downstairs, didn't you?
Yeah. I want a drink.
You open the window and you work your way out onto the roof, kind of hugging the side, looking down at the ground. It seems like it's a lot farther drop than you thought it would be. You work your way over top of the peak of the roof, slide down the other side, and then work your way along the edge till you get to her window. Are you trying to stay outside of sight?
Yes.
I need you to give me a stealth roll against Lika, and well, not really Lika. Lika's very distracted, but against Eek's passive perception.
That's a nat 1.
And you, as you're approaching the window, you just kind of your foot slides on the shingles, and you start to slide down. You catch yourself on the window frame, but your hands are definitely in sight. What are you doing, Eeks?
I'm gonna go open the window. How far of a drop is it?
You guys are on the second floor, so it's it's not too awful far.
Okay. I'm gonna go open the window and just tell him it's rude to peek in on others and start like pushing each finger up one by one.
I'm gonna persuade him to stop and say, "You locked us out, man."
For good reason.
You want to actually roll persuasion?
Yes, please.
Are you using any type of spell?
No.
Then I really can't have you roll persuasion against him because it just wouldn't really make a lot of sense.
Lika is hearing all of this, just wishing everybody would just stop talking already.
So you guys can both hear her just go.
She's like grumbling under her
Eeks
breath.
is now starting to peel your fingers back. One hand flies loose from the windowsill. You're now holding on with one hand. What are you doing, Eeks?
I want to give him a chance to go back into his room.
What are you doing, Flanardius?
Fine. I'll just let go.
And so you're gonna let go and slide down the roof. You let go, so you're just like fine, and you let go without realizing, and suddenly you start sliding down the shingles, these wooden shingles. You've come off the edge of the roof and just plop land flat in this. There's a slight hedge behind the place where you hit, so you don't really take any damage, but you're now laying in this hedge, kind of sitting with your arms pushed up to the side of your head. What are you doing, Eeks?
I'm going to close the window, and I want to. It would be possible to have everybody leave the Discord.
Sure. Can I have everybody except for Ika and And Eeks.
Ika.
Lika and Eeks. Leave the room.
There's a leak in the boat.
Hold on.
Okay. I think we're alone now.
Looks like it. Okay. I'm going to turn to Lika, walk over. Just looking down, do I see that tattoo on her wrist?
Yeah, she's not really trying to hide it at this point.
Well, I mean, I've always got my bracers on over it, though.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
All right, but you can see the edge of it sticking out.
Okay. I'm going to put my little goblin hand on hers to get her attention. And I'm going to point to that tattoo and ask her, why do you have that tattoo?
I'm like just gonna be kind of like look at him because I'm really focused on like what's in the book, and I'm like gonna like try and sit there a second and process what he said, and then realize that he's actually looking at it, and I'm going to pull my hand back and just like pull my sleeve down again, and just be like, I thought I've already told you. I just was trying to infiltrate and just sometimes, stupid decisions.
Did you ever kidnap any kids?
Do I look like the type that would kidnap children? And I'm going to be like looking at him like really pissed off right now, like shooting daggers into him.
Depends on how well you wanted to blend in.
Didn't want to blend in that badly. Which is why I'm on the outside now.
Okay. Don't get me wrong. I can respect infiltration. I'm a rogue. I get it. I infiltrate shit all the time. But you got to understand, we killed a bunch of those people with that tattoo.
There's so much that you just don't understand about these people.
Then help me understand.
I don't know. No one else can get involved in this. You just need to just forget the stuff.
Well, we're fighting this stuff. I need to know. I'm not going to ask you to come forth to everybody, but I'll look after my own skin, and I deserve to know.
That's why I'm telling you, you might, as soon as you guys get a chance, walk away from this. You all do not understand what you are walking into.
I think we're in a little bit too deep. You and I both have, 4 tallies now? 4 marks?
Yeah, what did you do to earn yours? I've been curious about that.
That's a good question. I've never ran into these people.
Can I insight check him?
Sure. He seems sincere.
And I was telling the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just Lika doesn't believe anything, so yeah. Well, that's very interesting then. And like wheels are starting to turn in her head, wondering how in the world that anybody that hasn't come in contact, wondering what other connections, like she's just trying to put a bunch of stuff together. She goes, well, I know how I've gotten mine. And if you can run, I would suggest you walk away from this. Because this is not a battle against mortals. You saw the cave painting. This is a battle against gods.
I'm going to hold up my bracelet. I know this.
I'm just gonna look at the bracelet and be like, and that one is a wild card.
That may be, but so am I. So
Just
if
gonna
you
kinda
want
nod.
this wild card on your side, you need to be 100% honest with me. I was just thinking, like, they probably don't say 100%.
That's fine.
You want the truth?
Yes.
Everybody makes decisions in their past that they have to live with. And I'm going to actually take my bracer off and remove my bracer and show it. It's not like everybody else's. Mine was actually mine is a different like style and like a whole different color and stuff, but it's got like scars through it. I'm like, I've made my bad decisions knowing or thinking I knew full well what I was getting into and never realizing just how deep the stuff went.
I'm going to insight check you.
Okay.
No. I cannot roll insight to say every single insight roll that I've rolled has been awful.
Well, on that sentence, she is being 100% honest.
That sentence. Okay.
Yeah, on that sentence, she is 100% honest on that one. But she's like, I made my decisions in the past. And some of them were so far wrong, and I'm having to live up to that now. And without knowing full well, you might want to be careful. And if you've got the chance to run, you might want to, instead of getting caught up in something much bigger. Because
I've been in some very thick things. I've never ran. I've always pushed through.
Well, I know where this is going, and it would be smarter if you ran. And I'm going to pull my sleeve back down, put my bracer back on.
Well, you know what they say about us goblins.
And she's going to look really confused and be like, what do they say about goblins?
That we're animals, we're stupid, we have no decency, we have no skills.
Yes, well, not everybody speaks what they know. Well, that doesn't make sense. Not everybody. Hold on. Not everybody speaks honestly. People speak out of fear, and sometimes it's wrong. Actions speak louder than words.
And that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from you. You're speaking out of fear.
I walk a long road. I have chosen to walk this road. I have chosen knowing much more than any of your group knows, and I still do not know everything. So if I'm speaking out of fear, I'm speaking out of fear for people getting involved that should not get involved. I will not be responsible for any more death. And she's like getting like really irritated right now.
I'm going to ask her what she means by that last statement.
She's going to kind of shake her head, not realizing that she also said so much, and be like, just don't worry about it. Just
No, say it.
decisions I've made have gotten people killed in the past. And I am not up for allowing that to happen again. I'm going to correct those mistakes. And I will not have anyone else fall from my mistakes.
I'm going to pull out my special dagger, and I'm just going to hold it. And you know what this is. You haven't told me, but you're afraid of it. I've been cut by this, and I know what it does.
She's gonna be glaring at him like really horribly, but her hand is gonna be like she's starting to get kind of defensive. Yeah, that dagger, it makes you remember the past and all of your worst moments. So yeah, I really don't feel like I live those every day. I really don't feel like being forced to live them any more than I already do.
I'm going to whisper something.
Metagaming. When I got cut with this dagger, like it brought forth all those memories and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I get the sense of those memories whenever I'm holding the dagger?
No.
So okay.
Yeah, and Linka is totally tearing up at this point in time because she is like getting really upset.
This dagger is asking me to show you.
You probably will not want to do that.
Look, we're traveling together. We're working together. I don't want to use this dagger on you. I want you to be honest with me. I'm not asking you to go tell everybody else. Just me.
The honest truth is what I have said, that I do not want anyone else to fall because of my mistakes. I will not be responsible for any more blood on my hands. Because people traveling with me have died and gotten caught up.
But what mistakes? You keep saying mistakes. What mistakes?
I've lived over 200 years. Take your pick of any mistake.
I'm going to drop the dagger on the floor. Resisting the urge. It's whispering in my mind. And I'm just going to look at her like, I'm going to keep my eye on you. If I sense anything amiss, you can be sure I'll be there to stop you.
It's not me you have to worry about.
And I'm going to pick up the dagger and walk out. And I'm going to go to my room.
Okay. I'm going to message everyone and let them know that they can come back now. And let's see how long it takes them. I had to create a different server so they could all sit and talk.
All right.
They were crying.
By the way, we have all voted as the town council all-day breakfast at the Guild of Pony.
I want eggs at 9 p.m.
Well, you're at the slaughtered hog, so.
Outplayed again.
You were offered a room there, and you guys turned it down. Well, at least Flanardius and Ren did. Okay, so you leave the room, Eeks. What are the rest of you guys doing? Flanardius, you're outside. Have you come around and walked back into the tavern, or what are you doing?
I think I fell asleep outside.
just in the bush.
It's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and Flanardius is snoozing in the bush. He's just like, screw this. I don't need it.
It's like, you guys, go to bed.
Calasan and Stoll sitting at the table. Tessa comes back, and she brings your breakfast out to you, Stoll. There's 6 eggs cooked, and there's some bacon off to the side, and she looks at you and she says, I hope you like it. She turns to you, Calasan. Oh, Calasan, I'm glad you're here. Can I get you anything?
I'll have a gin, please.
A gin? Oh, yes, right away. What about something to eat?
Did you have the effect they're making?
I'm sorry?
Just a steak.
A steak? Ah, yes. She looks at you, Stoll, and she says, I'm sorry, but Bella insists that you guys start paying again.
Yeah, it's just about to. Here's a gold piece for it. And I toss her one.
And she holds it in her hand for a moment. She goes, it's only 5 silver. I can't take this whole thing.
You can split it up between the rest of whoever. I don't know, man.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
She takes it and she puts it away and she says, Calasan, can I have a word with you?
Yes.
She walks away from the table. She goes over to the hallway by the stairs where you guys had come in originally through the side tunnel. She waits for you as you approach. Her head's kind of bent down, and she goes, I know you hate me. I'm sorry if you feel like I deceived you.
You didn't. I was just trying to protect you.
From what's going on here.
With the Talon man about, I didn't want you to be a target too.
That's sweet of you. And she smiles. She says, but we're all targets here.
You don't have a mark.
We all have marks. Everyone in this town. That's why we can't leave. I don't know what's going to happen to me now. People like me aren't accepted. They hate us. I can see it in their eyes. They'll never trust me, no matter what I do. Calasan, I really like you.
I know.
Do you think you could ever forgive me?
Of course. There's nothing to be forgiven for.
Oh, you say that, but I know it's not true. I can only imagine what it must be like to see me look like. And for a moment, she lets herself go back to her original shape just for a split second, and she becomes Tessa again. I know I'm ugly, but I could be anyone you wanted. I could be, and you see her turn into Lika, or she turns into Ren.
Oh God.
I could be anyone.
She could be Bowsette.
And then she says, or if you prefer, and she turns into Stoll. Or
Oh God, no.
and then into Eeks.
That's hot.
And then she says, and if you're really vain, and you see a mustache and a little goatee forms on her face as you stand there looking in a shorter mirror of yourself.
Oh my god.
And she sees the other look of shock on your face, and you see her just laugh out loud. And she's like, you should see the look on your face. Hold on, I can show it to you. And she makes the same face. And then she reverts back to Tessa. And she's like,
Oh my god.
but seriously, I could help you against the Tallyman.
You need to stay safe. Listen, the work we're doing, we might get more marks. I can't have you getting more.
And it's not right for us to sit by and let you take all the risks.
No, it's not, but it has to be done.
Then it's settled. I'm going to help you. Now, if you excuse me, I have a gin to get. And you see her just push her way past you. But as she does, she gives you a little bit of a smile. And she walks over to the bar and begins mixing a drink while Bella and her new friends are sitting down at the far end, just laughing and having a good time. The place is starting to fill up a little bit, and it's starting to get dark outside. It's getting into the 6:30, 7 o'clock hour. The crowd's starting to get a little more lively. The barmaids are starting to work the floor a little more. Tessa brings you out your steak. The usual group of minstrels are beginning to play. There's a lively tune going on. And finally, you see Gloria sitting at the bar. She spins her legs around. She looks over at Bella and says, well, time to earn my keep. And she goes up to the stage and she begins playing, and the crowd just goes crazy. They really enjoy her playing. Those of you who are upstairs can hear hear what's going on downstairs. Eeks, are you in your room?
I am in my room.
What are you doing?
I am focusing on my bracelet, and I am asking Mask to speak with him.
You begin rubbing your bracelet, and the room kind of gets a little dark, almost an unnaturally dark, as shadows begin to fill all of the corners. And you feel a presence in the room as it's constantly behind you. You feel the familiar presence. Do you try to turn to look at it again?
I'm just going to say, one of these days, I'm going to see you.
You don't want to do that, little goblin. What do you want?
Did I push her too far?
The elf?
Yes.
And at this point, I need everyone to leave the room.
Town council meeting!
What did he say?
Town council meeting.
Oh.
She will be pushed much farther before this is through.
By me?
By me. I have plans for you, Goblin. There are many things that have been set in motion. A shift in power. One that I do not approve of. One that needs to be set right. I cannot interfere. It has been forbidden. Directly. It's you. You shall be my dagger. My fist.
Could you elaborate a little more? I feel completely in the dark about everything.
Kellenvor is someone I care about deeply. He has been poisoned. His mind has been beset. One of Velsharoon's disciples, Negron Keldor, has his ear. He has succumbed to the pride of men. This must be stopped.
I know in the past I haven't been the best person I could be. I'm trying to fix that. I want to be better. I just want to make sure the road I'm taking is the correct one.
I can be a hard master, but I will guide you. And I will protect you as I have.
Speaking of protection, I'm going to lay the dagger out on the floor just to my side. Do you know what this is?
It is my gift to you.
But that's not
When
your
you
voice.
find Negron Keldor, I want you to use this to rip him from groin to throat. And I want him to feel the searing agony. All the things that he's done wrong. I cannot touch him. It has been forbidden. But you will be my weapon.
If this is your gift to me, whose voice am I hearing when I hold that dagger?
You are not the first dagger of the mask. And the presence pulls back from you.
It's not elaborate
So what are you doing, Eeks?
I'm gonna just gather my things and just head back downstairs. Get a drink. I need a strong drink.
So as you come downstairs, are you going to the table with the rest of the party?
Yeah.
All right. Lika, what are you doing?
I am just pacing upstairs, like torn because excited for my book, annoyed by the note, intrigued by the note, and then just really, really just dealing with everything that Eeks brought up. And I'm just going through like everything. And then I'm getting like really also pissed off because I couldn't handle the stupid golems on my own like I used to be able to do. And so I'm just working, messing with everything in my head.
All right. And it's getting to be about 7 o'clock now.
Okay, then.
You can hear the partying going on downstairs. Ren, you're sitting at the table. Now the place is starting to get loud.
Is there any couples just sitting by themselves?
There are several couples sitting alone.
Yeah, stolen me.
We're a nice couple.
No, like an elderly couple.
An elderly couple. Nah, there's really not any elderly couples in this place.
Mid-age.
Also, that's
mid-age. Yeah, you see a couple sitting over in one of the corners. They look like they're having a little romantic dinner before the party and everything starts off.
All right, I'm going to stand up on their table.
Stand up on their table?
Yes.
So you jump up on the table, and they're just kind of looking at you, and the gentleman's like, excuse you.
It's
We're
okay.
trying to eat here.
Shh. I'm just gonna yell, everybody! I have an announcement.
And the whole place kind of quiets, and you see Gloria up on the stage. She's in the middle of the song, and she stops. She holds her hands up, and the rest of the people, the other musicians, kind of quiet down for a moment, and everyone turns and looks your way.
This couple is celebrating their 5th year anniversary. Let's give them a hand, everybody.
And the whole place just kind of goes up, and he's like, "No, you know that's not true. This is only our 3rd date. Who are you?"
I'm trying to help you.
And places, everybody's just like clapping and everything, and Bella's like, "Here!" She starts. She motions over to Tessa, who starts pouring some drinks and bringing them over to the table. He's like, "That's not true. That's not true."
On the happy couple.
And then Bella chimes up, "That's not true."
All right. Free drinks on stool. And then I get down and sit at Stool's
And Bella says, "Now that's something I can get behind."
That is not true.
That's
Stand
so
up and
true.
scream out.
And
Rich,
the other barmaid walks over to you as she holds her hand out for the money, and you see Bella's just pouring drinks everywhere, just down the row. She looks at you and she goes, "That'll be 10 gold."
You fucking son of a. Here's your stuff.
That's what I thought, big guy.
Pour me one. I want a goddamn raspberry liqueur. I saw it. Give me a goddamn raspberry liqueur right now. The tallest container you got. Here's 15 gold. I don't care.
And Gloria's like, "Go ahead, give him one. I'm gonna get him up on stage here soon anyway." And the party starts taking off. Like, things are going really well. And then Gloria kind of holds her hands up, and everybody gets quiet, and she goes, "I've got a new song. It's from my heart. It's a little painful to sing, but if you guys will just be patient for a moment." And you hear she looks over at the man sitting at this piano thing, and you hear this, and everybody gets quiet, and she walks over to the thing. She says, "Once I knew a mage who was petrified when our party fought that Medusa down in Eventide. Since then I spent so many nights thinking how it all went wrong. We thought we were strong, thought that we could do no wrong. Our monk was fast. He said avoid her face. We would have died had our ranger not cast pass without a trace. Our rogue should not have picked that stupid lock and set that gruesome creature free. Before we knew what was happening, we went from 4 right down to 3. Our monk said, go, run out the door. Don't turn around now. I'll try to stop this ugly whore. When I ran out, I heard another sigh, and I was sure right then and there that I was going to die, but no, not I. I have survived." And just as she sings that out, this cup comes flying across the room, and it smashes against the wall against her. And you guys turn to see the elven woman that came with her, and she's like, "I told you not to sing that stupid song. That's how Roy died. I'll kill you, you little bitch." And she pulls out her knife as she starts to jump across the thing as this dwarf hand reaches out from behind the bar, and Bella grabs her by the wrist and pulls her back. A couple of the other men start to hold her. She's like, "No, I told her not to sing that. I told her." And you see Gloria kind of, she looks around the room and she starts to tear up for a moment. And she yells at her, "We all have our own way of dealing with things." And she storms out of the place. And the musicians are just like, what do we do? And they immediately start breaking out into another song that's a little more upbeat. Lika, this happens just as you come walking down the stairs, and you see Gloria run out of the tavern crying. The other woman's still fighting with the people who are trying to hold her in place, and Bella seems to get her settled down, and she starts drinking again, glaring out the door.
I'm going to just kind of look around confused and pull my hood up higher and just walk out of the tavern and head to where I'm supposed to be heading to.
You guys see Lika leave.
Nothing unusual here.
I would like I
I'm
would
gonna-
like to try and collect some money for people for Gloria in parentheses.
I'd like to help
So give me persuasion checks
with
Well, that's-
advantage. With advantage.
with advantage. Give me a persuasion check, Calisan.
While that's happening, I'm just gonna let out a sigh, tell the group I'll be right back, and I'm gonna follow Lika stealthily.
All right. Give me a stealth roll against her passive perception. What's your passive perception, Lika?
Not that high.
12. Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
You walk out, and Eeks, you sneak out of the bar, and you stick to the shadows, and she has no clue that she's being followed. Calisan and Stoll, as you guys are passing the plate around, people in their drunken condition are just throwing money into the pot. Once you guys are finished, you have about 150 gold pieces and 20 silver, and like 6 copper. And people are like, oh, that poor girl. If you only knew what had happened to her, as they're going around.
Split a half. Yeah. She'll love it. You guys are great people.
Right, yes, the heroes of Filion. And the crowd kind of erupts, and everybody's happy. What are you doing there, Ren? Are you going back to the table and joining the rest of the party? Flanardius, are you still sleeping outside?
Oh, is this stuff loud enough to wake me up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I want to get up and wander around, maybe make my way towards the entrance of the tavern and see what's going on.
As you're coming around the side, you see Gloria just sobbing beside the tavern. She's just, crying.
Okay, I'll walk up to her and sit down next to her.
She doesn't acknowledge you at first, and then finally she sits there and she goes, I never was good at this bard shit.
Me either. I'm going to rub her back and tell her it's okay.
She kind of leans into you and she goes, she's my best friend in the world,
I can just imagine him like leaning in and like singing, "Pimps Don't Cry."
What's the matter, Gloria? Like, what are you talking about?
Heroine. We were all traveling together. Her husband, my husband. We thought we were the best, We had saved a couple of towns from some minor monsters, some gnolls. But then one day, we got greedy. There's untold treasures in the ruins down in Eventide. We thought, we could do this one last job. Maybe retire, from the adventuring life. And that's when we saw her. That wicked, freaking creature. My husband tried to save us. Pushed me out the door. I write songs about it because it helps me deal with it, We lost both our husbands that day. I keep telling myself one day we're going to go back there. We're going to kill that bitch. And we're going to retire on what we saw there, But I know it's not true. She gets more bitter every day. She blames me. Says it was my fault. And it was. I'm a horrible person.
How long ago did this happen?
About 2 years. We've been traveling together, making a living as best we can. when we came into town and we saw you guys in that fight, we almost got involved, but wanted to see what you guys could do, you know? Hey, and she kind of scoots around a little bit and perks up and she goes, maybe when you guys are done doing whatever the hell it is you're doing here, we could go to Eventide. You've got a strong group. There's lots of gold. I've seen it.
What are you thinking? Like a one last mission or revenge?
Revenge, for sure. But there's enough there that we could all retire. What do you say?
Oh,
Help a bar it out?
I would be glad to do it, but I would like to share this, this information with my group. I've been traveling with. We've been through, quite a bit together, and I don't want to, speak for everybody.
We could tell you guys were used to fighting together. You talk to your friends. I'm going to go inside and see if I can make amends and maybe save a little bit of this show. I need the coin, you know?
I hear you there.
All right, well.
If there's anything I can do to help you make amends, let me know.
You're sweet.
Oh, I know. But don't tell anybody.
She leans forward and gives you a kiss on the cheek.
My inner voice is going like,
She kind of hops down and she comes up to about your belly button. And she looks up at you and she's like, we'll catch you later. You any good with those bagpipes?
I'm okay. People say I'm okay.
We'll get you up on stage then.
I dabble.
This whole thing.
I'm going to be here for 3 nights. We should make the most of those.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes.
Have you seen my my group?
They're inside. They were sitting at the big table in the middle of the room.
Those bastards. Okay, thank you.
And she kind of straightens herself out a little bit. And those of you who are still in the place, you see her walk back in. She walks over to the bar. She kind of looks at you guys and gives you a kind of a sheepish expression. And she walks over to the bar. You can't hear what's going on. You hear a heated exchange for a moment, and then you see the 2 women just start crying, and they start hugging each other. And Bella starts like pouring drinks for them and keeping things going. Lika, you're walking down the street. You get to Boris's house. What are you doing?
I sigh heavily and then knock on the door.
You hear some rustling around inside, and the door opens, and Victor's standing there, and he's dressed like he's got a nice dress shirt on, as good as a poor boy in a poor town can look. He opens the door, and he's like, oh, "You came, good. I'm so excited. I made a pot roast. I've never made a pot roast before, but I figured, how hard can it be, right? So I made the pot roast. You like meat, right? You like potatoes, carrots?
Yeah.
Please, come in. And you come in, and the home is empty. There are torches, or not torches, but lanterns lit throughout the home. But it's still a little dark. And he leads you over to a small dining table with 4 chairs around it. There are simple plates laid out. There's a candle on the table, and he says, "Please sit, man. Would you like something to drink? I have ale, and I have wine, and of course, I have water."
I'll have some water. And as I'm sitting down, I'm looking around to make sure that there's no more shadows in this house.
You see flickering lights from the candle work and everything, but it seems to be okay.
Okay.
And you see him walk into the kitchen. He comes back out. He gives you a glass of water, and he's like, "It will be ready in a moment. Just give me a couple of moments. I have to put some finishing touches on some things, and I will be right back. Okay?"
Okay.
Yes. And he walks in. He's gone for a few minutes. He comes back out. He's got 2 plates of a meager salad, and he lays one in front of you, and he has his, and he's got a couple of cups of stuff to put on it, some oil and vinegar and things like that. Nothing too elaborate. He sits down and looks at you expectantly, kind of looks at the plate and looks at you.
I take a bite. I'm just like, smile. I'm like, thank you very much for finding my book.
You are welcome. I see that grandmother started making notes in it. I wish I would have paid more attention to her. I think I know the language, though.
Oh, I know the language. It's just whoever wrote it in riddles, and not being 100% fluent in the language and not knowing the riddles of the ancient times, it makes it that much more confusing.
I could not make heads or tails out of it. I have seen the writings before in mother's journals, or grandmother's journals, but I've never learned the language. I should have. Do you like the salad?
Oh yes, it's very good, thank you.
Good. My brother said you would not come, but I told him he was wrong. So, how is it that you have come to this town?
Oh, wandering around, you end up in some strange places.
Yes, there's no stranger place than Filian, that's for sure.
Yes, that's an understatement. So those journals that your grandmother had, did you find those as well?
Well, of course, yes. As a matter of fact, that is where the books were. They were buried underneath your book, and their father's now. But I read through them from time to time. She was a great adventurer. One day, I too will leave this town when we are free from the Tallyman.
I'm sure you will. In reading her journals, did you ever come across anything about daywalkers by chance?
Daywalkers, she mentioned them a few times. They are drow who are able to walk in the light unhindered.
They can
Why do
walk
you
in
ask?
the light unhindered. Well, one of the notes that she left for me said daywalkers. She must tell me. And I don't know quite what it meant.
I do not know either. I admit I did look through your book. I hope you don't mind.
No, that's fine. If you understand any bit of it, I'm more than happy for the help. But I would warn you that I wouldn't make knowledge of this book public. It too many people would be after this book. No one can know about it.
Of course, your secret will always be safe with
Thank you.
you. Hold on one moment. And he gets up and walks away from the table. He comes back with a pot. He lays it on the table, lifts the lid off, and the smell just makes your mouth water. It smells delicious. He begins to cut some of the meat off and puts it on your plate, scooping out some of the vegetables. He goes, "This was my grandmother's recipe. this is one thing I did pay attention to. I've always loved to cook. I know you couldn't tell that by my rough exterior. And he holds out his hands with the calluses on them. There's something else I would like to show you, if you wouldn't mind.
She's gonna look very warily at him and be like,
And you see the smile come on his face. He gets really excited. He bends down in front of you, and he utters an incantation, and this flame appears in his hand. And he snuffs it out. He goes, I kept this from my father, but I think that I have inherited some of her abilities.
it would seem so. Did she teach you any of her spells by chance?
No, she did not condone me wanting to learn such things. That's why I started pouring through her journals.
I could see why she would feel that way.
But I am going to be a great adventurer like you one day.
Oh, I would be careful of the world out there. Sometimes you find adventures that you don't wish to have had.
I am not a child. I know I am young, but I am 18. I am a man. And I am strong. And he stands up, and he is a pretty big guy. This isn't Boris. This is his son, Victor. Sorry, went meta for a moment there. Patrick was messaging me. Boris is 18.
And I'm watching all this through like a window, right?
Yes, you're watching. You can't really make out what they're saying.
Right.
But you see them sitting at the table.
Okay. I'm just going to assume that it's a payment for him delivering that book, and I'm going to wander off.
Okay. And so he moves back around to his side of the table. He's like, "So what do you think is good?"
Oh yes, it is very good.
he blushes a little bit, and he's like, "I think you're a very beautiful woman."
Well, thank you.
Thank you for coming to dinner with me.
Oh, well, thank you again for finding my book. It was the least I could do. You don't understand just how important this is.
Tell me. Perhaps I can help.
Honestly, it's better if you don't know. Your grandmother knew, and, well, it's probably better if you don't know.
Yes, that bastard killed her. He sent them, didn't he? I would wring the life from his throat with my bare hands if I could. I have already decided that I am going to fight with you. With the town. We are going to stop him. It ends here. It ends now.
Just always think before you make any rash decisions. The Halley man, your grandmother could not defeat him.
My grandmother was old. And she
When
was
she
frail.
was younger, she fought him and could not defeat him.
What do you mean?
Something she told me. She had a spell, though, that could hurt him.
What spell?
She said it was light.
I have not learned that. But I will.
Perhaps it is in her spell book. Do you think your father would let me look at her spell book?
He looks around the home, making sure that no one's there. Wait here. and he walks into another room. You hear some furniture being moved out of the way, some heavy objects sliding across the floor. You hear rummaging, and then it slides back into place. And he comes out and he holds it in his hand, and he says, "Here, but you did not get this from me."
I thank you so much. I will return it to you once I look through it. If I can find that spell, I will give this back to you.
Yes, please do. I would like to learn some of those myself.
Thank you very much for everything.
Oh, but you have not had dessert yet.
Oh, I did not realize there was dessert.
What kind of man would I be? Did I not make you dessert? And he gets up and walks into the kitchen, and he comes back with a nice apple pie. He slices you off a bit, and he hands it to you. And he says, "So perhaps we can do this again."
We will see.
And with that, kind of a realization pops into his mind. He says, "You think I am foolish child, don't you?"
No, I do not think you are a foolish child. You are young, though. I mean, I'm older than your grandmother.
Yes, I know about you. I know about you elves. I know you live long time. But I can tell you this. No elf can make you feel the way a man can make you feel. And with that, he turns around.
Lika is just shaking her head right now. We're going, oh, no.
And he sits back in his chair with this smug look on his face.
Hey, this has got confidence.
Yeah, she's okay. And thank you for fighting my book again. I'm still really weak from fighting those golems. I probably should go rest.
And with that, he kind of nods his head a little bit, and he's not sure exactly how to take your abrupt departure. But he begins cleaning up the plates as he walks you to the door and lets you out. He considers, you can see the gears turning in his mind, and he starts.
She pulls up her hood and she walks away.
Thank you again for the dinner. And
thank you, and I'm walking away.
As you begin walking back to the tavern, and you're passing by the blacksmith's shop, a shape moves in the alley. It's now dark outside. The evening is very quiet, and a shadow form begins to move its way out of the alleyway. It begins to encircle you, Lika, kind of swirling around you, and it stops in front and begins to coalesce and form into a solid shape, and you recognize the form immediately as Anastasia swirls in front of you. Her face moves towards yours, and you just hear her. You hear her voice as it says, "Die!" And that's where we're going to end it tonight.
What?
Well, great.
What?
Okay, tell me this. Does Eeks see that? Because he's still like kind of hanging back, just